Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. There is no greater power than knowing who you are, standing in your truth, and refusing to be controlled. We all know someone who thrives on manipulation, who feeds on attention, who cannot stand to see others rise unless they are standing on their backs. These are the people who drain you, who twist reality, who make you question your own worth. But today, that ends. Today, we take back our power. Because the moment you realize that you don't have to fight, you don't have to scream, you don't even have to engage, that is the moment you win. Narcissists crumble when they lose control. And today, I am going to give you 7 ways to make that happen. 7 ways to shake them to their core without losing yourself in the process. 7 ways to break free and walk away standing taller than ever before. Are you ready? Let's begin. Narcissists survive on attention the way fire feeds on oxygen. They crave admiration, validation, and constant reassurance that they are superior, important, and in control. When you cut off that supply, they wither. This doesn't mean engaging in arguments or trying to prove them wrong. That still gives them what they want. The real power move is indifference. When they brag, don't react. When they seek compliments, don't provide them. When they provoke, remain unbothered. The moment a narcissist realizes they are no longer the center of your world, they begin to unravel. At first, they may intensify their efforts trying to pull you back into their game. They'll use guilt, flattery, or even anger to get your attention. But the secret is in your consistency. You do not feed their ego, you do not engage in their drama, and you do not let their manipulations dictate your emotions. Over time, they'll either lash out in desperation or retreat to find a new source of validation. Either way, you win, because nothing is more torturous to a narcissist than being ignored. Set unshakable boundaries. Narcissists love to push limits. They will test your patience, your kindness, and your willingness to compromise. That's why boundaries aren't just important, they are necessary. The key is to make them clear, firm, and non-negotiable. You don't explain yourself, you don't justify, and you certainly don't apologize for having standards. If you say no, let it be final. If they try to guilt trip you, the moment they see that they can no longer manipulate you, their power starts to fade. Live your best life without them. There is nothing more infuriating to a narcissist than seeing someone thrive without them. They want to believe that they are the reason for your happiness, your success, your joy. So when you step into your power and start living for you, it shakes them to their core. Focus on your goals, build your confidence, and surround yourself with people who genuinely support you. The less you think about them, the more they obsess over the fact that they no longer have control over your emotions. Remain unbothered and unemotional. Narcissists thrive on reactions. If they can make you angry, sad, or frustrated, they feel victorious. But when you remain calm, when you refuse to give them the emotional response they crave, you strip away their control. No matter what they say, no matter what games they play, respond with neutrality. When they see that their words and actions no longer have power over you, they will feel expose their lives with truth. A narcissist builds their world on deception. They twist reality, manipulate facts, and rewrite history to suit their narrative, but truth is their greatest enemy. You don't have to argue or fight, just stay firm in reality. Hold up the mirror. Let their own words and actions reveal the truth. A narcissist cannot stand being exposed because Their entire identity is built on illusion. Show them you're no longer controlled. The moment you break free from a narcissist's grip is the moment they lose all control over you, whether it's emotional, mental, or even physical control. Taking your power back is their greatest nightmare. They will try to pull you back, but when you show them through actions, not words, that they no longer have any influence over your life, they are left with nothing. Walk away and never look back. The most powerful thing you can do, leave, and leave without a second thought. Narcissists expect people to come back, to apologize, to beg. When you don't, when you truly walk away and build a life that doesn't include them, that is the ultimate revenge. Because nothing tortures a narcissist more than realizing they are no longer relevant in your world. Narcissists thrive on control, and one of the ways they achieve it is by testing and violating boundaries. They do not respect limits unless they're firmly enforced. That's why setting unshakable boundaries is not just necessary, it's your shield against their manipulation. When dealing with a narcissist, your no must be clear, direct, and non-negotiable. They will attempt to guilt trip you, charm you, or even intimidate you into changing your stance. But the key to reclaiming your power is consistency. If you give in once, they learn that persistence works, and they will keep pushing. Boundaries should be both emotional and physical. Emotional boundaries mean refusing to engage in toxic arguments, not allowing them to dictate your feelings, and not absorbing their negativity. Physical boundaries mean limiting access to your time, space, and energy. You do not owe them explanations for your decisions, and you do not need to soften your stance to make them comfortable. They will resist, test your limits, and even act as if your boundaries are offensive, but that's because they fear losing control. The moment a narcissist realizes they can no longer manipulate you, they become desperate. They may lash out, play the victim, or try new tactics to regain power. But when you hold your ground, when you remain firm in your choices without reacting to their provocations, they start to lose their grip. Eventually, they will either retreat or expose themselves further in their frustration. Either way, you win. Setting unshakable boundaries is not just about keeping them out. It's about keeping your peace intact. And nothing tortures a narcissist more than realizing they can no longer break through the walls you've built to protect yourself. Narcissists want to believe they are the center of your world. They thrive on the idea that you need them, that your happiness and success somehow depend on their presence. The greatest way to dismantle that illusion is to live your best life without them. When you shift your focus away from them and toward your own growth, they begin to lose their power over you. Nothing is more frustrating to a narcissist than seeing you happy, thriving, and completely unbothered by their absence. This doesn't mean pretending to be happy just to get a reaction. It means truly investing in yourself. Focus on your goals, build meaningful relationships, and surround yourself with people who uplift and support you. Take care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. When you glow from within, the narcissist will notice, and it will eat them up inside. They will try to re-enter your life, whether through charm, guilt, or provocation. They may even attempt to sabotage your success. But when you stand firm, showing them that their presence is not only unnecessary, but also unwelcome, they lose control. A narcissist's worst nightmare is realizing that they are irrelevant to your happiness. They want you to doubt yourself, to feel lost without them. But the moment you step into your own power and prove that your joy, success, and confidence have nothing to do with them, you take away their last source of control, Living well is not just revenge, it is liberation. And nothing tortures a narcissist more than watching you rise while they fade into the background. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions. They provoke, manipulate, and push buttons to get a response because your emotions give them a sense of control. Whether it's anger, sadness, frustration, or desperation, they feed off knowing they can affect your mood. The moment you remain unbothered and unemotional, you take away their power. This doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means refusing to let them dictate your emotional state. When they insult you, don't react. When they try to bait you into an argument, stay calm. When they spread lies or create drama, don't engage. The less energy you give them, the more powerless they become. A narcissist craves chaos and thrives on attention, even if it's negative. But when they realize they can't shake you, they start to lose interest. At first, they may escalate their tactics, trying harder to get a rise out of you. They might play the victim, lash out, or use guilt to provoke you. But your strength lies in your ability to stay composed. Respond with neutrality, set firm boundaries, and remind yourself that their words and actions are reflections of them, not you. The more indifferent you are, the more they suffer, because they can no longer manipulate your emotions. The ultimate revenge is emotional detachment. When you refuse to give them the reaction they crave, they are left frustrated and powerless. And nothing tortures a narcissist more than knowing they no longer have control over your emotions. Narcissists construct their world on deception. They twist facts, rewrite history, and create illusions to maintain their sense of superiority and control. They lie to manipulate others, avoid accountability, and make themselves appear more powerful than they truly are. But the one thing they cannot stand is the truth. Exposing their lies is like shining a bright light on a shadow. They panic, they lash out, and they scramble to cover up their falsehoods. The key to dismantling their web of deceit is not engaging in pointless arguments. Narcissists are experts at deflection and gaslighting, making you question your own reality. Instead, remain firm in facts. Keep records, screenshots, and evidence if necessary, especially if their lies affect your reputation, relationships, or well-being. When confronted with undeniable truth, they will either deny, shift blame, or play the victim. Stay calm and let the facts speak for themselves. You don't need to convince them or make them admit to their deception, because they won't. A narcissist will never openly acknowledge their lies, but they will feel the weight of being exposed. The more you hold up a mirror to their behavior, the more uncomfortable they become. They thrive on illusion. And when that illusion shatters, they are left vulnerable. One of the most powerful things you can do is refuse to be a participant in their false reality. When you stand strong in truth, when you refuse to accept their version of events, they lose control. And nothing tortures a narcissist more than being stripped of the power that comes from their carefully crafted lies. Narcissists thrive on control. They manipulate, guilt trip, and intimidate to keep you under their influence. They want to dictate your thoughts, emotions, and decisions, making you feel like you can't function without their approval. But the moment you break free and show them that their control is gone, you become their worst nightmare. Taking back your power starts with self-awareness. Recognize the patterns of manipulation and understand that you don't have to play their game. The moment you stop seeking their validation, stop reacting to their provocations, and stop allowing them to dictate your self-worth, their grip on you begins to loosen. They may try to pull you back in using charm, guilt, or even aggression, but when you stand firm, they start to lose their hold. Your actions will speak louder than words. Narcissists expect people to beg, to argue, to engage in their drama. But when you disengage completely, when you show them that their tactics no longer work, they are left powerless. Block them, ignore their attempts to provoke you, and continue living your life without their interference. The more indifferent you are, the more they struggle to regain control. True freedom comes when you realize that you never needed them to begin with. When they see you happy, independent, and unbothered by their absence, it drives them mad. They want to believe they are essential to your happiness, but the reality is, you are always capable of thriving on your own. And nothing tortures a narcissist more than realizing they no longer have power over you.